to take a picture, like make my hair look nice because my hair's not styled. So I at least took my hat off for you. I put a little blush on and some eyeliner and mascara. But I was trying to take a picture, and everywhere I went, I think I lost all that weight I just gained because I think I look thinner, which wouldn't surprise me after the past couple of weeks I've had. I'll gain it back. I am hungry though. You could help me make a shake. So I got to thinking about altars and stuff like that. Now I'm fully reintegrated and I've been coming to terms with that and getting used to it. So right now it's hard for me to imagine back to when I had 169 altars and when I was DID. And no offense, I kind of really don't want to remember back to it. I just want to get used to being healed and cured. I don't want to stay incapacitated, and having alters and being DID, dissociative identity disorder, which was formerly known as MPD, multiple personality disorder. I don't want to be ripped apart, and I don't want to keep thinking about it. I'm not a victim, and I'm not going to pretend to be one. I don't want to be one. I also don't want fame. I'd rather infamy. That way nobody forgets you. So Yahuwah healed me in the recorded live streams. Sure, Marissa. How do I do that? How do I get that off my screen? And I don't know how to get that off my screen. Go away. I don't know. Maybe I have to do that before I set up maybe I have to choose that option before I run the video. I don't know how to do it right now from where I am. I'm sorry. If I was on my computer, maybe I'd have the option, but I can't find it here. I'll try to remember for next time. So altars. I'm sorry about that, but I'll try to remember to turn them on. Let's start with how to heal. Instead of like, I don't know, Abba, Heavenly Abba Yahuwah, can you please help me run this video? Because I'd like to run it with you and Yahusha's Shem Selah. I don't know. I'm one whole person now, and it's really nice. For the first 40 years of my life, I had no idea that I had altars. I thought I was just having mood swings or a bad day. No idea. But I was programmed. So when the lab coats were done programming me, when the Nazi scientists were done programming me, they sent me out on various missions and assignments. I can get into those too. But I'd, rather not. And as far as the secret space program, the SSP, we were in the dumps for that. And it says it all. And that says it all right there. For the secret space program, we were in the dumps for that. Deep underground military bases. Do you know it's in a really deep, deep, deep swimming pool? The International Space Station where astronauts drown. You and I have been taught complete lies. Don't get mad at me. Please don't debate me. Just go before Abba and say, is it true we've been lied to that much? And yeah, we've been lied to that much. We are the only, throughout all civilizations, throughout all time, all the time of The whole time humanity has existed. The whole time, approximately 6,000 years that human beings have been on the surface of the earth. We are the only people that believe we're on a spinning ball. All the other ancient civilizations believe in a fixed, non-moving earth with a firmament over it, and the sun, moon, stars, and planets are moving stars. Well, anyway, all of that is rotating around above us. Imagine being a little baby, an infant in a carriage or in your crib, and your parents hang a carousel above you. Okay, for lack of better terms, that's the earth. We're too fit. I'm going to stop right there. I was thinking of Pink Floyd's song, Wish You Were Here. What is it? Two lost souls swimming in a fishbowl. I don't wish you were here. Unless it's Yahusha, then yeah, that's who. So long as it's Yahusha. Everything we've been taught is a complete lie. We've been taught that Christianity is a good thing when no, it's not. And if you really look into it and look up Constantine and what he's done, it's evil. Constantine did not pray to the same Alua that I do. He prayed to a different Elohim. Elohim means multiple gods, different gods. Alua means God in Hebrew. Elohim is the plural of Alua. Anyway, so Constantine believed in a different entity. And he said to this entity, give me a sign that I can kill him. And his entity, his God, his king. See, I got the King of Kings, Yahusha, but Constantine, who Christianized everything, he had a different entity, and his entity gave him a cross, the Roman Empire cross. Do you know the people that come to you and say, well, how come, everybody always kills in God's name? It's because of Constantine. And if you look up Constantine's creed and you look up Christianity, it says it is false teachings and pagan traditions, and you have to renounce Yahushua HaMashiach to be a Christian. Jesus, Jehovah, oh, you can keep them. The Roman Empire doesn't care. I mean, they have the Trinity teaching. The Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit. That's unholy. We have an infinite creator, and he's on the throne. He is in person, and he happens to have 7 spirits, one of which is set aside to be our companion. And it's the spirit of resurrection that resurrected him. He only has one name, and that's it. Because, Yahusha came in Yahuwah's name. Jesus, Jehovah, Yeshua, they came in their own names. Yahusha came in Yahuwah's name. Only that name gets rid of demons. Only that name cures and heals. If you want to be fully reintegrated, he'll get you there. You just got to be willing to do the work. And I'll tell you what, I was one of these people where I was like, I'll do it on my own. Leave me alone. I'll lock myself in my apartment and I'll get her done. I'll quit the pain pills, find a natural homeopathic way of life. And when it came to deprogramming, I grabbed Yahushua, my golden bow, for I'm his arrow. And then together, he led me. I started to draw out things in my mind. I started to write everything out. This process you need to keep private. Don't be getting up on the internet telling everybody. Once you're fully reintegrated and you know who the predators are and you know how to navigate, then you can go online and tell your story. Now, Abba, it was a calling. Abba said, Holly, I want you to put your diary up online. I want people to see what you go through. I'm going to be a wise ass and tell you, you guys need a return on your tax dollars that you paid blindly to a rogue government. I got some bones to pick with taxpayers because you guys are the ones that funded these black operations, black projects, that I was put through. Special forces used to stand guard around me and the other kids when we were growing up, being put through training and programming up in Nelson, Canada, and around other military installations and government facilities. So they have these black projects that you guys have no idea. It would sound like totally fantasy, like Star Wars type crap to you. But it's actually very real. There is technology that is so advanced that when you and I see it, because we don't know about it, we're going to think it's a fallen angel. And meanwhile, no, it's a drone with advanced technology on it. And we're mistaking it for being a portal opening or a fallen angel or an alien or ancient astronaut ancestor. Because all that technology, how they used to build these beautiful cathedrals in they said the 1700s, but we used to have these beautiful stone buildings that we no longer built. All that technology has been hidden from you and I, and it's kept in the hands of a certain elect group of people. Now, when they go to use that technology, because it's been hidden from you, your parents, my parents, our grandparents. And my grandmother was born 1922, and she she told me that in school they used to teach her that the earth was flat. And I laughed at her. I couldn't wrap my mind around it. Now, the secret space program and the DUMBs is just to further the lies of NASA. Everybody has to remember that there's two voices in the world. You have Yahusha's voice, the real savior, our maker who came to earth, was born here and died for you and I. It's not anybody else. It's him. The second voice is Moloch. Stop looking at my alfalfa hairs. Hey, at least they're not back here. What was I saying? So Moloch sends out a second voice. I'm glad I got a like on that joke. You were looking at it too, huh? All right. So Moloch sends out a second voice in the world, and it gives you a version of Jesus, a convenient version of him. Now, I think Jesus is an imposter to Yahusha. So excuse me for saying that word. I rebuke myself because I don't want to summon that thing and its legions because it is an imposter to my Yahusha. Moloch sends out, I rebuke myself. Moloch sends out, we can go through spiritual warfare too. Moloch sends out a second voice in the world. Look at it this way. Shiva has 1 million faces. So Shiva could give you 1 million different versions of your savior. Which one would you like? There's plenty of imposters out there. And they go by many, many names. But he, our maker, who came to earth, was born, died for our sins. He only goes by one name. And that one name was stolen from you and I on purpose so that we could not heal, could not cure, could not get rid of demons. And then the churches misrepresented him, made him look boring, weak, dumb, stupid, limp, distant, cold, like he forgot about us. But meanwhile, it's the complete opposite. I see Yahuwah working in the people that genuinely seek him. No, I don't look in this world thinking I'm going to see Heavenly Abba. I don't go to church thinking I'm going to see him. That place is run by Lucy and his buddies. You want Yahuwah, go talk to him directly. He will answer you. He answered me. If he did this for me, imagine what he'll do for you. Now, I'm not saying like you're going to have the exact same walk that I am, but he's performed miracles in my life. You have to remember that Lucy has 2 horns. One is fear and the other one is doubt. You got to rip him off his head and throw out the fear and doubt. And when you feel those things coming over you, you need to bind and cast them away. You need to know that when you truly seek him, the whole kingdom of darkness is going to throw everything at you to try to stop you. And why does the kingdom of darkness hate him so much? Why does the whole world hate him? I will say that he is misrepresented. All of these doctrines, such as Baptist, Lutheran, Protestant, Catholic, oh my God, all Seventh-day Adventists, Mormons, Islam, all of it, it's all wrong. Religion's all wrong. You want to know your maker? Go to him. Listen to the Bible for yourself. And then that way you know the stories in the Old and New Testament, and also look into the Apocrypha. Get to know those stories for yourself. Whether you read or listen, you're still going to be baraked. You're still going to be baraked. Whether you read the word or listen to it, get to know the stories in the good book for yourself. So that way, when somebody comes along trying to use that good book against you, trying to get the upper hand on you, you know the stories for yourself. And I got to tell you, there's some pretty cool stories. Did you ever hear the story of the one sandal? Oh, man. Oh, you got to hear the story of the one sandal. I don't know. It's just, all right. So what holiday, what feast and festival? I think it might be Shavuot, the Feast of Weeks, where we learn about the one sandal. What a beautiful story, the one sandal. Anyway. Where was I? I forgot what I was saying. Get to know him for yourself. Read and listen to the good book and the Apocrypha for yourself. He's not boring. Like, his personality to me jumps up off the page, but unless you read it for yourself, it's not going to happen. And go get NIV version so you can understand it. Okay, nobody understands King James. Get a version that you can understand. NIV is the best. Everybody loves NIV. I do. And just read it. NIV is the way you and I talk. All the versions have something wrong with them. The scribes have been lying from the time they were literally sitting in front of Yahusha until now. Nothing's changed. But when you rely on Yahuwah and you start reading our good book, you'll see where it'll start to say something like, oh, well, you just call out my name, and then all of a sudden it says, the Lord will be there. Well, wait a minute. You amped me up to hear his name, and now the name's not there. They took his name away from us. And I'm going to give you a hint. I'll give you I'll put my hands together. You put your foot inside my hands, and I'll give you a big lift up. That name is the correct name. I've searched, and I'm not going to mislead you. And yes, my ordainment means something to me. Myself and 6 other people went before Yahuwah August 2018 to ordain me and my spiritual gifts to him. So, and I'm not going back to hell. And I think I am definitely one of the watchmen that are out there trying to warn you people. YouTube took a lot of other good watchmen down too when they went through their purges. So but like when altars come forward, let them talk. Let them form bonds with other people. Leave them little notes around the house. Comfort them. They are you and you are them. Your altars are you stuck at that moment of severe trauma. And if you notice, when that altar comes forward, all you're thinking about is when you were locked in that box, locked in the closet, or locked in the Skinner box, or what have you. And then you got to work yourself out of that. That's hard. You got to make sure you stay hydrated, make sure you eat, take your vitamins, take your minerals, stay on top of yourself. And that's a full-time job right there. When, like do arts and crafts with your altars. Like, let me give you an example. I don't have it. Like cross stitch. If you did something like cross stitch, you're working both sides of your brain. Like, for instance, cross stitch. You're sitting there currently working on one color on one area, but you have to forward think about the next area you're going to cross stitch, which has a different color, and how you're going to transition over. So you want to do stuff like that to help piece back your brain. Sit down with a composition book, write everything out, draw things out. Find a couple of people that you can really trust. Stay off the internet. The reason why I'm here is because Abba told me to be here. Otherwise, you and I would not have met probably until about now. But see, Abba cured and healed me of dissociative identity disorder, formerly known as multiple personality disorder. He's cured and healed me of satanic ritual abuse. He's cured and healed me of the super soldier programs. He's taken my chaos away. He's cured and healed me of MK Ultra. And he did that real time in front of all of you. So, I mean, that's on you if you want to deny him. But I'm not lying to you guys. And you can look back through all my videos and see it for yourself. Yeah, there's a lot of videos on private still. But I'm here. I'll update my autobiography because I definitely want to end my book with I've been fully reintegrated, happily ever after, missing Keeper and Saver tremendously. But I'll probably put a fourth section in the book, what I've done with the past 5 years and what's happened, the new things that I've learned and tried to figure out. Giving Trump my testimony. I think I wrote that in my book. I'm not sure. That was a rough draft. That took a lot. And the people in Maryland were screwing with me when I was trying to edit it. Religious fanatics. So, altars. Get a small group of people you can trust. Ask Abba to lead you to them. And there's a lot of people online that I've met that are into this. They're ordinary people like you and I, but they have strong faith in Yahusha. They've had personal experience in their own lives, and they help each other. Like, I have a support system. I have to say, though, half my support system knows about what I went through and how to deal with it, and the other half just doesn't. They're regular people, but they still comfort me. They still, because it's their faith in Yahuwah, and when you rely on his Ruach Kodesh, then, he tells you what to do. Like Heavenly Abba, I'm going to tell you, I noticed this, and it was hard for me to figure out at first, but Heavenly Abba, when people would meet me, and it still happens, Heavenly Abba would show them what I've been through. People have called me and said, Holly, after meeting you when I first met you, like within the first week or two, I had dreams, and I think Heavenly Abba was showing me what you went through. And that was really horrific, Holly. So they're empaths or whatever. But if you ask Heavenly Abba, he'll show you. I'm not lying. He cured and healed me of a lot of bad stuff. And he's still not finished curing and healing me. I'd like to be able to get to a gym, and I'd also like to be able to get to a doctor, but that I don't want to talk about. So, I don't know. There were days it felt like in my mind it was romp around. So many altars were forward, and I was juggling so many things. I just wouldn't be able to get myself out the door. I told my altars, I said, listen, you guys are super soldiers, okay? I cannot compete with that. It's obvious. But, you guys are super soldier. I was saying this to my altars. You've been used as a spy. You've been used for various reasons. I'm from Project Mannequin, Project Looking Glass, Project Seagate, Alpha, Beta, Delta, Gamma, Sci-Fi. I went through the whole gamut of MK Ultra projects. Again, I was born into them. You guys hear about Project Monarch. I'm not Monarch. I'm Beta, which is kind of the equivalent of Monarch, but different. I am from Montauk. So I said to my altars, I'm like, listen, I can't compete with you guys being spies, super soldiers, going on assassination missions, and like going off to war and seeing combat and talking to top brass. I can't compete with that, but I need your help. Can one of you do my dishes? Can another one of you vacuum? Can another one of you help me make sure I take a shower? Can another one of you do my laundry? Can another one of you do another chore? Can you help me take care of Holly? Because you guys are me and I'm you, whether you like it or not. We are each other, and I would not be alive unless you existed. I have a friend that is special forces, a combat vet, and he thinks that he's a weak man because he has altars. And I've told him on several occasions, you're not a weak man whatsoever. You're very strong, because any regular person would have had a heart attack and died on the spot. But instead, survival of the fittest. You hung on by all means necessary. It broke you, but you still marched on and completed the task. And then came home. I know all about survivor's guilt, and I told my friend, don't let that stuff get to you either. It's what you do with your time now that matters. And to truly be set free from all of this stuff, it's only through the blood of the Lamb that's going to get you there. You might find a little bit of relief through other avenues or other deities or things called source or drugs or whatever. But if you really want true healing, it's always going to be through Heavenly Abba, through his perfect, hallowed, saving name and what he did at his crucifixion. He died, was dead for 3 days in hell, resurrected, brought thousands of people back with him. And then he ascended, and only he ascended to heaven, but only he is returning soon. No saints are going to be with him. The saints are not going to steal his glory, and he's not going to share his glory with anybody. That's only him that gets that white horse, not Marzulli or Dean or anybody else. That's that Moloch voice right there. That's Moloch sending out a second voice in the world, and the majority of people listen to it. And those are just two prime examples of ministries who listen to Moloch's voice instead of his. Sometimes they hear his, but they keep veering off on that fake Jesus. Billy Graham veered off on that fake Jesus because it was a fake Jesus to get him money and get him in the position he was in. I don't think Billy Graham was good at all. It sounded like somebody's going, I got to get my hair cut. I can't take it. So, at times my alters would present themselves to me when I was sleeping because it was easier to handle the stories that they were going to tell me because I could wake up out of a dream. You cannot wake up out of reality. But even then, once I woke up from my alters telling me what happened to them in a dream, I had to deal with it in reality. But it was just an easier blow, I guess you'd say. But my alters would present themselves in my mind's eye. On the outside, you guys would not notice anything because I was programmed. Not unless you knew what you were looking for. That was while I was active as a super soldier. But once I got out, escaped, was released, I'm thinking like all three of them. But once I got out of the dumps, December 2011, it was in December 2014, Yahusha became my golden bow and I'm his arrow. He's been protecting me ever since. He's been protecting me ever since. What was I going to say? I'm drawing a blank. So I got out 2011. I got him in 2014. And it was through the blood of the Lamb that when people tried to trigger me, they were not successful because Yahuwah was always standing between me and that other person. I can show you. I drew a picture of it. Excuse me. I'm kind of getting scatterbrained. I have a lot to say about this topic, and I get a bottleneck of thoughts. What did I call the drawing? I didn't scan it, did I? No. So Yahuwah takes his sword and stabs it in the ground. And I pray that he stand between me and the evil and that it does not cross past, the evil does not cross past his sword to get at me. I have a drawing of it, but I'll find it next time. I keep drawing blanks. This is getting frustrating because there's important things I want to say and now I can't remember them. I gave my alters new jobs and it worked. I would leave notepads and crayons and stuff around the house for my alters. And there were times that I would leave a note on the door that said, I want you guys to stay home. I don't care what you do while you're here, but I don't want you driving around for whatever reason. And then there were other times, it was fine that the alters were forward. I had places to go. I still had to get in the car and drive in, fulfill my appointments. But then there were times that I just had really bad days where I was emotionally upset and being stuck at those traumatic moments. And with 9 alters forward or 15, that's a lot of trauma and torture that I'm looking at. But I gave my alters new jobs. I started to be kind to myself. When they'd pop up, I'd always introduce them to Yahusha, have them write and draw things out. I tried to, it was hard because when I first woke up from the mind control, what Mangly and Briggs, he was actually in the dumps. He had satanic clones. He was not a good guy. They rewired my brain. It was terrible. I remember when I first woke up back in 2014, it was hard to actually drive. Um, I don't know if you've ever had fibromyalgia, but with fibromyalgia, you'll be driving down a road you've grown up on your whole life, but all of a sudden it's like you forget where you are, you forget where you're going, and it's familiar, but you don't know where you are at all. It's like you just go blank and have amnesia. Well, the MK Ultra felt like that when I first woke up. And like driving, it was difficult because everything was on top of each other and cluttered together. Now, when you're driving, say from A to D, you got to go point A, you start out, and then you got to drive. There's time and space to point B. There's time and space to point C, and there's time and space to point D. Well, everything was just cluttered up in my mind. How a regular person will have like maybe 2 paragraphs of information in their mind of what they want to say and they can retain the thought for a while. Well, I could not retain my thoughts, which I still have some problems now with, like just remembering what I wanted to say, like in a few minutes from now. But back then in 2014, waking up from the MK Ultra, my mind broke down to one letter. I remember being at my computer and just pressing E. E. I couldn't think. I could not talk. It was terrible. This is back in 2014. I stopped eating. I stopped sleeping. I wound up going to the hospital. And then after that, Abba and I just, once I realized I had altars, then I started researching it. And I just had my golden bow Yahusha with me the whole time. I have my covenant ring. So every time an altar popped up and saw this, oh my God, Holly, what have you done to us? We're never getting married. We're going to kill you. Literally. But once I told him it was Yahusha and, you know, the other altars, Sam and some of the other altars, they were ready to stop. They were ready for Yahusha. They were ready to get out. Once myself and my altars once my altars saw that I was married to him, it was pretty easy to get them saved. They were happy. They were exhausted. They were tired, and they were looking for something true and new. And of all the horrible things they saw, Yahusha was this sparkling breath of fresh air that's undefeatable in spiritual warfare. I never met him in church or at an online ministry. I met him at rock bottom in spiritual warfare with no future in sight. And no family to help. As far as the friends I had, forget it. Back then. So at first I screwed up, and like 2015, 2016, 2017, I was not letting people talk to my altars or my altars talk to others. I was barricaded and it wasn't working. So finally I started to let my altars speak on videos, and it was Greta. Pretty much only Greta could tell. She'd be like, that's not Holly's altar. And I'd get off a video and she'd call me and she'd be like, Hol? My friends, my good friends would just start calling me Halls. Because I'll tell you why. It was Heavenly Abba that made me co-conscious, but it was also the blood of his lamb that stood between me and being called back to the dumps, being triggered to go back. But my friends would call me Halls. It was awkward because if my altars did come forward, I really didn't want anybody to know. I felt awkward and embarrassed. All of my altars answered to Holly. None of my altars were programmed with a name. I think only a handful of them had names. The rest did not. I nicknamed the ones that I met. But my friends would call me Halls. But like, I think it was with Greta a long time ago. She's like, I'm not talking to Holly. She just blurted it out. And I was like, I'm embarrassed. I don't want anybody to know, but no. She's here. Holly's here, but you got a few of us other ones right now. But we love you, Greta. You know we love you. We're friends. And we would pray for my altars to settle down and give Holly the reins back, or actually give Yahushua HaMashiach the reins back, and maybe they could let Holly be in control again in Yahusha's name. And sometimes I just had, the altars were not going anywhere until I coddled them and took care of them and cared for them and showed myself a little bit of compassion for what I had been through, instead of beating myself up like all my ex-boyfriends did to me. Instead of treating myself like trash, treating myself good and thinking, hey, I am good enough to heal. I am good enough to be put back together. I deserve this. I may be a rotten person, but I've gone before Abba and I've repented. And yes, I'm not worthy, but he washed and covered me in the blood of the Lamb. And not that I deserve it, but yeah, at this point, I should be a good enough person. I should be enough of a person. I should be enough of a human being to have a right at being healed. That's how I should say it. I don't deserve it, but I should have a right to have an opportunity to be healed. And now that I've sought forgiveness in Yahusha's name, and I walk in his ways, I obey his commandments and celebrate his feasts and festivals. My altars were happy to do it. I mean, my altars remember the Dums during the holidays of Easter and Christmas, and it was just a bloodbath and terrible, and satanic rituals, sacrifices, sex and drugs were used, and yes, they made you drink blood and eat the organs of what was sacrificed. Sometimes I was just happy that I wasn't the one being sacrificed, and I hate to say that. I remember seeing them put a kid alive in a fire. So I keep getting off on tangents and I'm not completing my thoughts. Abba, please help me, because I know I left a few loose ends because I got off on tangents. But you got to take care of yourself. You got to learn to love yourself and forgive yourself like you do for everybody else. You got to do it for you too. You have to stop hanging your head down. And sometimes you have to force yourself to pick up your head, whether you want to or not. And why are you hanging it down anyway? That was something I had to learn. I had to learn not to be embarrassed of having altars or being DID. I tried to have a relationship, but the dudes were just jackasses, complete jackasses. Oh, that altar's bland. I don't like it. Oh, that's a dumbass move on your part. You don't like one altar? Well, the other 168, you just made enemies of, because they're for each other. They're not for you. They're for Holly. If it weren't for those altars, I hate to talk about myself in the third person, especially now when I'm fully integrated. But back then with my altars were there for me. And they would say to each other, we're here for Holly. That's what they would say to each other. They're gone. It's only me. So excuse me. I don't want to be talking about myself in the third person because I do not want to sound crazy. I'm not. I'm healed of it. But back then, that's what the altars would be like. You beat up on one altar, the rest are not your friend. And no, you're not going to get a second chance. How the altars would think amongst themselves that I was really weak because I was too forgiving and always taking these people back. And they just wound up walking on me, taking advantage of me. And, I love them, but they didn't love me. And, that's just the truth of it. I've dealt with battered woman syndrome. I'm over it. I'm over my fear of men, but I don't want one. I already got a perfect man. So there's your answer, guys. You guys don't stand a chance because Yahushua's perfect. Seriously. Laugh all you want. You don't laugh at nuns. Anyway, so, sex trafficking was a part of my programming. So when I was younger, I was sex trafficked through the politicians and through the elite families like Rothschilds, Cullens. I remember Vanderbilt. There's other wealthy railroad tycoons. I can see people's faces, but I don't know all their names. I remember George Bush Sr. I hate Jr. I remember Barry Obama. Cannot stand Hillary Clinton. I remember them from when I was trafficked. So those altars who were sex trafficked, I'll tell you what, they were done being poked and prodded. They wanted the vow of celibacy to our Savior. They didn't want to mess around. And it was through my vow of celibacy that Heavenly Abba was able to, I'm going to say Barak instead of bless, if you don't mind. So it was through my vow of celibacy that Heavenly Abba was able to restore my purity and innocence and make me feel like I had value and worth again. He restored my flower. And that's terrible to say. But he did. He restored me. He cleaned me off and made me feel good as new and patched me all up. And so, yeah, he's my perfect man. I'm already married. Listen, December 12th, 2014, I'm sure there's a few police reports because Jonathan Kahn called the police and told me not to come back again. That's another story in and of itself. So for my wedding ceremony, there's a police report. I was waking up from the MK Ultra programming, and one morning before December 20th, one morning I woke up with end time nightmares with the stuff in Revelation. And I thought it was going to happen right then. Like everything was on top of each other when I first woke up from MK Ultra. It took me a few years to get that time and distance and space and be able to go, okay, there's point A, then you have point B over here, then point C, and then point D. So it took me years to build back my mind from breaking down to one letter. I had to build back my mind to remembering a whole sentence, then two sentences, now paragraphs. Even harder, speak it. I could sit there and type it. That's why I'm always at the computer, because for 10 months I couldn't talk. So I'd be grabbing my attorney going, come here. And I'd be like, on the computer. He'd talk, say something, and then I'd be and write out my whole answer because I couldn't speak. I could say, sit down, keepies, love you. I had a little kid voice too. I was autistic. I kind of sounded like this, but I was really nervous and chattery. Oh, I was a nervous wreck with my knees knocking. But yeah, I did sound like a little kid, a scared little kid. Um, it's so embarrassing. You don't want to be online to have anybody see you like that. And a lot of time, oh boy. Over the 10 years in 2014, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, and still even at times now, I don't have family. I don't have a husband or kids. I don't have a place to go. You guys know more than the doctors do. And so I just got used to coming here, good, bad, or indifferent. I fell down a couple of bottles of beer on HTV. I lost an interview from some well-known channel. I was like, damn it. I lost a few interviews, but, let Yahuwah's will be done. And I'm not here. I want to be here for the right reasons. So let his will be done, But I went through a hell of a time. And there's a lot of people that come in my chat room that held my hand over this whole time. And I would have been lost without them, without their companionship, because I didn't have anybody else. Where was I going to go? Who's I going to listen to? The dude who collapsed my lung, he'd only hit me harder. I couldn't tell him about, he and I were such great friends until him and his kid moved in with me. Then all of a sudden, communication went out the window. Anytime he got mad at me, he would take something away and then never give it back. And it's like, all right, you unforgiving MF, I just don't want nothing to do with you. And no, we weren't together for 21 years like you told the court. We were only together for a year and a half. I knew you for 21 years. Sadly, I asked that to be here for me because I got to deprogram and rewire my brain because the angel of death from World War II screwed me all up. And I still click my heels. But if it weren't for my altars, if it weren't for my mind breaking, I'd be dead. And all of this feels so surreal at times. Most of the time, I can make it through my testimony with a breeze, no problem. But once in a blue moon, I might feel like I'm right back there. And that's okay. I made a pact with 3 little kids when we were young. Should any one of us get out, we come back for each other. Well, when I was, I think about 37 years old, those 3 kids came back for me to get me out. Well, I don't have a way to go back for the other kids. I'm not brave enough. I'm chicken shite, yellow bellied. I don't have the resources. I don't have an army. I don't have the money to even get to a location. So the only way I can go back for the kids or do anything for the kids is to give my testimony. Now, I was trafficked by our government, USA, UK, Canada's governments and military. I'm exposing black operations, the transhumanism, the dark human experimentation projects that our government does. This is not a joke. I'm not Shelly, Allie, or Safi. I'm not Susan. Who are some of the other fakes and frauds out there lying about being trafficked? I'm not any of them. My testimony, Carolyn Hamlet, Kathy O'Brien, Taylor Bryce, Fiona Barnett, Jeanette Archers. Now, our testimonies get stolen. Why don't you guys come hang out with us anymore? We're not good enough for you. You got to go find the fakes and frauds now. Listen, I'm not getting behind it. And you know what I'm not going to do is next time I see the fakes and frauds pop up, I'm going to say something right off the bat. Like in 2020, when I saw Allie's very first video, I knew it was a bunch of malarkey. I was like, oh my God, Safi, you watch this? And I'm calling you my close friend and you watch this? McFly? This is McBaglio. McFly, is anybody home? No wonder why she got into Shelly and Allie, because she's lying about her testimony too. When I met Safi, her testimony was one thing. 2 years in, when she started hearing me talk about the human experimentation and she got the full picture, or the full scope of my testimony, boom. Now, oh, Holly, we're a created human too. No, you're not. I can tell by what you say and how you say and what you don't say that you were not a part of these projects. Yeah, the secret space program. I have the same exact stories that Michael Jacko has. Fighting on Mars. Go the swastika-shaped building on the moon. I got the same things as him. The moon, Saturn's moon, the fight with the spiders there, the reptilians on Saturn. It's in my book. This is why I need to update my book. And I first started off saying the truth back in 2018, but nobody was listening to me because that didn't get popularity. The truth did not get popularity, but the truth is we were in the dumps. We were programmed with this lie to think we were out there, but we were really down there. Now, there's other dimensions, but there's not other worlds. The way you and I have a world here and now, this what we have right now, this world, this, let's call it a physical realm. This physical realm is a dimension. There's other dimensions with people living in these other dimensions, but there's not other worlds. There's not another Earth. You cannot live. There's not another Earth. You cannot live. You cannot. You can't fly. All right. I don't know how. Because you can with a reptilian spaceship. You can with the advanced technology, but you cannot with a human airplane or a human rocket. You cannot reach Mars with a human rocket or Elon Musk's rocket. Maybe a reptilian spaceship or Marduk when the guy with the wings comes down. Maybe one of those advanced technology spacecraft can you get to Mars or Saturn, but they're different dimensions. I think we have 12. Yahuwah himself is the 12th. You and I are somewhere in there. Hell's also a dimension. People are going into other dimensions. What we're seeing, these aliens, they're interdimensional beings. They're not otherworldly astronauts and stuff like that. That's the wrong thought process. And of course, they want you and I have the wrong thought process, because when we have the wrong thought process, we're listening to Malak's voice. We're not listening to Yahusha. And yes, it's that simple. You and I have a truth. Do we believe the truth that Yahusha gives us about how he created the earth? Or do we listen to what NASA says? And meanwhile, NASA is the only one that says we're on a spinning ball. Everybody for thousands of years before NASA was agreeing with Genesis. You and I are not more advanced. Remember that girl, Bridge? And even these famous online ministries. We're, human beings, we're at our smartest now. All of our medical advancements, we're not in horse and buggy anymore, which means we never had horse and buggy. We always had aircraft and ground vehicles. Always. Always. That stuff is inscribed on the pyramids and ancient temples and other ancient buildings. So you and I have a choice. We can listen to the truth or not. Now, when we choose not to listen to the truth, then we've made our decision, and Heavenly Abba will turn us over to what we do seek. I got off on so many tangents. I just left like tons of loose ends. I don't know. With my altars, I wanted full reintegration. I didn't want to stay broken apart. Some altars I never met, but once I started treating them kindly and I gave them new jobs, things started changing around for me. It was grueling, it was embarrassing and humiliating. But then December 2022 rolled around, the year 2022, and Abba just slapped full reintegration on me. Came out of nowhere. Suddenly I saw my altars and they just came over to me. And instead of trying to take me over, they just came over to me. And then I saw them, all of a sudden they grew up. And there were a lot of grown ones. I had 169 altars, various ones. I cannot say that the majority were little kids. I used to think they were, but anyway, I don't know. But I mean, there were ones in their 20s, I guess. But anyway, I saw all the altars grow up. And then I happened to like itch my face. And when I itched my face, I noticed 169 holly altars itched in the same spot. And I'm like, I went like that. And they went like that. And they were not trying to take me over. So I did a little can dance with them, right? That feels good to stretch my muscles. And then all of a sudden, they just rolled up into me. And that was it. And Abba said, Holly, in the future, I'll let you say goodbye to your altars. But right now, you're fully reintegrated. I need you. I'll let you. You need to get used to this. So that way you can realize how ripped apart you were. So right now I'm focusing just on how it feels to be fully reintegrated. I go to sleep me. I wake up me. I'm not like regressing. And I don't even want to say that word. I rebuke myself. The altars don't come forward. I'm just all one person. I have a very robust personality. I like a lot of different styles and a lot of different things. Big sense of humor, dark, sarcastic sense of humor. So it's been 2 years and I like it. I feel a lot stronger. I feel a lot better. And making it through that is awesome. And I'll see my altars later. I can say goodbye to them another time. I was ripped apart for 47 years of my life. 47 and a half years of my life. I'm 50 now. I definitely want to spend time enjoying being whole, So I don't have any victim mentality here. I could not wait to feel better. There's a whole bunch of people on the internet, like every week or every couple of months, they're coming up with some outrageous thing to keep it going and keep people interested in them. It's like, why can't you act normal, have a normal life, and I just like you for who you are, and we talk just to talk? Maybe you heard something funny. You don't have to act like you're a trafficked victim for me to like you. And I'd rather not have all the drama. Like, if you're really sick, I'll help you. But you pretenders, I don't want nothing to do with you. You mucky the waters, and I'm tired of it. And people say, oh, well, I love Jesus. Yeah, you've had him longer than me. You've known about your altars longer than me. You say how great he is, but yet you're still not healed. Come on now. I think that right there is attention seeking, because Yahuwah healed me. I've seen him heal other people, but some reason, oh, Holly, it's not in the cards for me. Holly, this is the thorn in my side. I'm always going to have these altars. No, you just don't want to do. If you really had the altars, you would want to do the work to feel better. But you don't really have altars. You're saying you do because online you get attention when you say you do. And that's all that is. From a real deal survivor to everybody else, to other victims, survivors, fakes, frauds, liars. Why would you want to pretend to be me or Kathy O'Brien or Jeanette or Carolyn or Taylor or Fiona? There's another one. I want to say Wilder for some reason. Why would you want to be Max Spears or Casbolt or Michael Jacko or what Duncan O'Finioan went through? Why would you? What's wrong with you? You know, Nazi sympathizers told me that these MK Ultra and Super Soldier projects just made me stronger. No, they didn't. They destroyed my life because I wanted to own grandma's house and live there for the rest of my life with a husband that I loved, having family on the farm, on a farm. And that's not what happened in my life. Instead, I was used by our government and military for 37 years of my life. I was on Project Seagate. I was on a lot of projects. So I got horses in this race because I'm a victim who overcame their traumas and tortures to be a survivor. And I see a lot of people online calling themselves MK Ultra, and they're not. Stop it. Did a boyfriend beat you in an altar spinoff? Okay, just be honest and say that that's what happened. Why you got to pretend to be something you're not? I'm going to love you if you just be yourself. You don't have to be from the MK Ultra projects to be my friend. Like, hello, just be you. I'm going to like you if you're you. I got friends of all different backgrounds. Ugh. I just don't like when they do magic on me and they say they don't. Listen, there's nothing in my life that I'm hiding. There's nobody here. It's just me and you. Ah, well, him. I'm not being handled. There's no programmers here. I don't have any boyfriends. Now, yes, I believe the Kingdom of Darkness has put guys in my life to handle me. I think that people have been put in my life to try to reinforce the MK Ultra programming to keep me involved. So I would not turn to Yahusha. And if I'm having premarital sex with a boyfriend, then that door is open and they can trigger me and access me and keep me active. The only way to truly be unactive as a super soldier specifically is to get covered under the blood of the Lamb, but you got to walk in his ways. So the fact I'm not sleeping around, I don't do drugs. I live a better life. I do Yahuwah's work now. I engage in spiritual warfare all the time. But I live right. So I'm covered under the blood of Lamb, so they're unsuccessful to trigger me or to get me to go back. If somebody hears voices in their head, then they're demonically possessed. It's not voice to skull technology. And I'm sure they're running around saying how much they love Jesus. Well, if that were true, then they would not be demonically possessed. People need to learn the authority and power that Heavenly Abba Yahuwah loans to us. And a lot of people don't know how to do spiritual warfare, and it's really easy. Even with your altars. I mean, your altars are going to fall in love with Yahusha during spiritual warfare. Once your altars see the power of the name of Yahusha, your altars are going to fall in love with him. They're going to be like, wow, he protected us. You're going to be like, yeah, see, that's why I introduced you to him. That's why I left you a little note saying, hey, baby doll altar, or hello altar. Do you have a name? Who are you? Like, what happened? Hey, I love you. Smile today. Tell me if you need anything. I'm going to go food shopping. Do you want something special? Altars are not demons. Altars are pieces of you. And you have to deal with the trauma in order to fully come together. You can't brush it under the carpet. Do not put your altars on the north side, the north rim, and you put yourself on the south rim of the Grand Canyon. That's not the way to handle altars. Now, if you need a freedom deliverance, you go get one. That's my specialty, by the way. Russ Dizdar was my mentor. That's the field I want to be in. I am in. I don't necessarily like it, but I'm damn good at it. Just yesterday, the Kingdom of Darkness tried to scare me hard. Holly, you can't get rid of us. We're bigger than you. And I'm like, you know what? You are bigger than me. And you're right. I can't get rid of you. But Yahusha can. And I'm not going to let you get away with bullying me like that. Don't try to intimidate me. And I mean this from the Kingdom of Darkness, like powers and principalities that come against me because of what I do, or witches, warlocks, Satanists, whoever, they may summon these things to come against me too. I might see a video on the computer and these powers and principalities will take that as an opportunity to try to come through to take up residence in my home. Maybe I open an email from somebody who's demonically possessed. Boom, right inside the message. Their demons are going to be jumping out at me. I have the gift of sight and stuff like that. A lot of people are like, oh, once you start talking about spiritual gifts, oh, you sound a hokey, ookie, wiki, whatever to me. Well, I have a supernatural maker and he gives me supernatural gifts. And, that's the thing. People say they have faith, yet they have no gifts. That makes no sense. People say they have faith, but yet they have no gifts. Heavenly Abba tells us that miracles follow his people. So if miracles follow his people, what the hell is wrong with these millions and millions of humans that say they're believers, but no miracles are following them? They say they're believers, but no miracles follow. They're obviously lying about something. You don't want to live like that. You don't want to be backslidden. You want to know about Heavenly Abba? Celebrate his feasts and festivals. There's so much value and meaning, and you'll draw closer to him. I love the Feast of Tabernacles. Oh, I love all the feasts and festivals, but the tabernacle one is fun because you get to build a tabernacle. And then, of course, you have the Feast of Trumpets, the Feast of Weeks, and the Feast of Unleavened Bread and First Fruits, including the Passover meal. But anyway, I got to look up when these feasts are happening this year and create a calendar for myself. That was my calendar last year. So my altars really dove into Yahusha because he's the truth. He never lied. He discipled me solely and securely in spiritual warfare. When I could see the demons, I could also see his Ruach Kodesh come in and totally annihilate the kingdom of darkness. Now, my altars, I was exposed to satanic ritual abuse. I was exposed to satanic sacrifices, satanic rituals. That's how these people in high places of the government get their power to stay there. These pyramids, I remember being in Chichen Itza, up on a pyramid, and they forced us to sacrifice a girl. There was blood everywhere, and it was to summon down these light, shiny beings, very sparkly. A so-called a Christian would totally think that it was an angel of heavenly Abba, when really it's a fallen angel. But because it's shiny, they'll think it's good, but it's not. But anyway, I remember that they forced us to do a sacrifice, and it was to summon down the fallen angel. And it was a shiny, shiny light being that just appeared out of the night sky and stepped down out of the darkness onto the pyramid and started talking to me like it was no big deal. And then I remember right then I had this out of body experience where I shot out of my chest a couple 100 feet. And I turned around and I looked back at the pyramid, and there's the fallen angel talking to me. And then right next to me was the other super soldier who had performed the sacrifice. And then from there, we were sent out on an assignment, and we were to get rid of certain entities that don't belong here on Earth. And there's a couple different species. And that's what that was like. There's something like that you guys call Bigfoot. It's hairy, but that's not the name of it. Kind of looks like Chewbacca. You got something like that looks like, for lack of better terms, that alien predator thing back in that 80s movie. It's invisible. That thing's a nasty mother. There's a bunch of them. Things up in the trees that fall down on you. There's a lot of stuff out there that the public just is not aware of. They, like these Christians, oh, I love my Savior so much. I know my enemy. No, they don't. No, they don't. And when they finally do see their enemy, their hearts are going to fail them. If Yahusha were to return right now, they would not recognize him whatsoever, because they think he's coming back to pass out daisies. He's not coming to bring peace. He's coming to bring division. He's coming with wrath, vengeance, and anger. He's not coming like a meek, mild servant. He's coming with vengeance, anger, and spite and judgment against us. And we're not getting out of here for free, okay? There's no escape route. The rapture is not real. That's a false doctrine. That Christian rapture is the same as the alien ascension. Did you start noticing what's going around on the internet lately? Oh, the aliens are leaving Earth. The aliens are leaving Earth. Yeah, so your new age, occultic, whatever, aliens are leaving Earth, or the aliens are going to take their kids with them when they leave. That crap is the same thing as your Christian rapture. Both of them are lies coming from the enemy. And when you believe that and you come into agreement with it, you are in fact taking yourself out of Yahuwah's will. He's got a certain way of doing things, and we are either doing it his way or not. And when we're not doing it his way, we're not covered under the blood of the Lamb. You think once saved, always saved? I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but you're not covered under the blood of the Lamb. Go ask Yahuwah. You're not living in his ways. You go to church on Sunday and have Sunday worship. Okay, you're not obeying the 10 Commandments. You are not covered under the blood of the Lamb. When voice to skull is used with Project Bluebeam, you're going to be tricked. You're going to hear that voice in your head because you're not covered under the blood of the Lamb because you got your Sunday worship. Oh, I know it's Saturday, but Holly, he knows my heart. Yeah, it's evil and wicked. You better start using your smarts. You got to live in his ways. You don't celebrate Hanukkah. He was working in the temple during Hanukkah. People do not know their maker. They really don't. But you're smart. You're going to go, if you haven't done so already, you're going to go get to know him for yourself. You're going to take a knee and say, hey, Yahuwah, I repent for my sins against you and me. And, let's talk about that. But Yahuwah, where are you? What's going on? I got a lot of questions. But first, are you real? Where are you? What's your name? And can you tell me how to go about all the rest? He's been vastly misrepresented. The church does not know him. These online ministries don't know him. These online ministries that don't operate in spiritual gifts. Oh, well, I got the gift of teaching. No, teaching a false message we can't find in the Old and New Testaments. False teachings and pagan traditions. Oh, Holly, we don't have to get it all right. It's okay if I get the rapture wrong. He is the truth. Yahusha's the truth. He's not a lie. And if you have Yahusha, you have the truth in all topics because he gives you the truth in all topics and areas. If you have lies and false teaching, you don't have him. You have lies and false teaching. And you're coming into agreement with the lies and false teaching over being with your Savior because he's the truth. You got to learn to rely on him. He's a supernatural God. He's going to speak to you supernaturally. He's going to manifest in nature. I don't know how to explain it. Him and I will go off walking, and then all of a sudden I'll feel that tap on the shoulder, or I'll feel his presence, and he'll literally pull my eyes straight down to the ground where there's a 4-leaf clover. Him and I got this thing with 4-leaf clovers. Like if you ever see Catherine O'Connell, and I have another friend whose name is suddenly eluding me. They give me 4-leaf clovers. I think Tracy's a third person. Yeah, that one 4-leaf clover is broken, but yeah, I'm always finding 4-leaf clovers. So he manifests. He'll give me dreams, visions. I might hear that still small voice, or a gut feeling, or just a general feeling. He may move my eyes to a sign, but then I'll also feel his presence. I'll feel him looking down at me. Meanwhile, he's pulling my eyes to that 5-leaf clover or 4-leaf clover. When I first got into him, Yahuwah was a feeling to me. And there were certain songs I listened to because he was a feeling to me. And you have to remember to test the spirits. To do that, well, remember fasting. Anytime you're stuck or you need to have the upper edge, always add fasting. 1 meal, 1 day, 1 week, 30 days. I don't know. It depends on the situation, what you're doing. Abba might tell you he wants you to do it for a specific amount of time, or he might have you come up with the terms and conditions. With him and I, it depends what we're working on. I'm drawing a blank. I was going to start talking about spiritual warfare. Test the spirits. It's a great idea to ask Abba for confirmations. Just say, examples. Heavenly Abba, I test me. I test the spirits. Abba, I test everything that is and is not nailed down in Yahushua Mashiach's name, but I do not test you. This is supposed to be the New Jerusalem with him in the center. So when you see me looking up, I'm looking at him. So Abba, I do not test you, Yahuwah, but I do test me, and I do test the spirits in Yahushua's name. Should I fast, Abba? I ask him that. And then I'll say, Abba, I need a confirmation. Can you give me one? Now, typically, I have a lot of different versions of the Bible. And Abba will be picky sometimes, and he'll have me pick up. I love Bibles. I had a chance to have a Catholic Bible once, but it got thrown out instead. And now I wish I kept it because it had the 88 books in it. But anyway, I want to get a Sefer Bible. So anyway, I'll say, Abba, can you give me a message, please? I need a confirmation. I need to make sure I'm talking to you. Abba, I'm bringing everything back to you. I'm bringing everything back to the good book. If it's not in here, then I'm dropping it. Abba, please open up my page to a message you want me to the confirmation. And Abba will open up my book to a message he wants to read. I couldn't help it. Abba's calling my attention to something, but I can't talk about it. It's something personal. I humble myself, Abba. I'm going through a hard time. Heavenly Abba opened up Proverbs 24 and Proverbs 25. And what stands out to me is more Proverbs of Solomon. But it says, what you have seen with your eyes, do not bring hastily to court. For what will you do in the end if your neighbor puts you to shame? If you argue your case with a neighbor, do not betray another man's confidence, or he who hears it may shame you, and you will never lose your bad reputation. But I bind and cast away condemning spirits and shaming spirits and worrisome spirits and other spirits that are trying to attack me in Yahushua's name. So what I was going to say is I'll go to the Bible and I'll say, Abba, please open it up to a place that, you want me to read, to confirm the message to me. I need to test the spirits. I need to make sure I'm talking to you, and I heard you right, and he will. There have been occasions where Heavenly Abba has led me to a video on YouTube or actually used another human being, whether it was like on a live YouTube video or in person or on the phone. Like Abba has used other humans to be a confirmation for me. So it's not just always bringing it back to the Bible and making sure it's here. Just, always bring it back to him. Always test the spirits, test yourself, make sure you're hearing them right. And it's okay to ask him for a confirmation. And it's better that you ask him for a confirmation because you want to make sure you're talking to him. Like even for these pictures, he gave me a confirmation for this before I even knew he gave me a confirmation for it. Before I even thought to ask him for a confirmation, he had given me confirmation to this video or this photo. This tav, it's not a cross, it's a tav. Could even be like a yod and a tav from the Hebrew alphabet. This was the 11th one on the photo. 11 months later and to the day, Heavenly Abba gave me a second set of photos, and he gave me another Tav. And he confirmed that this was not a fluke, and this was by his hand. No man put this mark on me. Yahuwah put his Tav on me. And Tav means mark. That's not Ezekiel 9. Heavenly Abba told me that's Revelation chapter 7:3 and Revelation chapter 9:4. And my all-time prayer for me is to see his return. I'm growing my hair nice and long because when he steps down off that cloud, he's walking on my hair. He's walking on my hair. You other ladies, we can all line up. So once he walks on my hair, he can go to yours, and then I can stand up and run to the end of the line and lay my hair back down again, and we can all just keep doing that for every step Yahusha takes once he's off that cloud. Nah, I'm not messing around. I mean it. So, yeah, my altars, I got to tell you, the easiest souls I've ever won for Yahusha were my altars. They were so sick and tired of evil. They were happy to run to him. And when they saw him in spiritual warfare, that was it. That was a no-brainer. They wanted him, so they ran to him. And instead of just reading the Old and New Testaments, I put them in practice. And when I put them into practice and my altars witnessed that, it was really helpful. It really was. And, you know, those 10 commandments are to protect us. They're not to make our life boring. And my altars, like the best way I could help my altars and heal my altars were to obey the 10 commandments. But also I turn to his feasts and festivals. And that Saturday Sabbath is paramount. And when my altars saw me living like that, it was easy to win them. You know, I wanted something real, and Yahusha has always been it. Yahusha's always been him. So be kind to yourself if you're ripped apart. Whether it's the dumbs or divorce or death, it doesn't make a difference. That was so traumatizing, it ripped you apart. Stop putting yourself down and start comforting yourself. I know the pain hurts so bad, you feel like you're being ripped apart again. But sometimes you just need to grab your golden bow, take him with you, and deal with it. You know? And then he makes it better. He wipes the tears away from our eyes. He does, I'm not lying. But people really need to turn to him and stop. Like when people turn to him, they're like, oh yeah, I'm reading the Bible, but yet they're online listening to some new age whack job interpret the Bible, and it's terrible. Now the good book interprets itself. People need to get the NIV because it sounds just like how we speak. They need to read or listen to it and study it for themselves and not twist it and not run online and search for somebody that they like who's twisting the Bible a certain way and then they agree with it. All these denominations are made because of demons. Doctrines are made of demons. Do not run out getting doctrines. Now, there's some good online ministries that, they're few and far between. Every now and then when I come across a great video, I put it up on Facebook and Gab in my YouTube community tab. And, you can start with Chuck Missler. but he's into the rapture. The rapture is a false doctrine. Ask Yahuwah to lead you, and just take everything back to Abba. Ask him if it's true or false doctrine. Read and listen to the Old and New Testaments for yourself. Get to know them for yourself. It's easy. They're easy to understand. And everything's in the Bible. The Bible talks about everything under the sun. Yep. So get to know it. Go to Heavenly Abba. If you really go to Abba and you rely on him, I have no doubt that he's going to lead and guide you the same way he did me. And he's going to be your rabbi the same way he was mine. And he led me to different videos online and to different people online where I could learn from them for a little while. But then I'd outgrow them after a couple of months or 6 months or a couple of years. I got all the information. I relied on Yahuwah. And now I'm not a beginner anymore. I'm not a new believer. I'm a little bit more than just intermediate. My faith is good. There's a lot of stuff I still want to learn and do. But when it comes to relying on Yahuwah and navigating where it's just him and I can function in Yahuwah. I know how to function in Yahuwah. I knew who Yahuwah was and how to function in Yahuwah before I ever knew who I was. And that was just paramount to me, is who is my maker and how do him and I work together? How do we function together? How do I navigate with him being my rabbi and guiding me? How do I hear his voice over the rest of this world? And not just that, like, I wanted him every single day. I wanted that, like, epiphany feeling multiple times a day with him. I didn't want it like once every 6 months or once every 10 years. I wanted that feeling every day. And so I just kept seeking him every single day and talking to him about everything, like asking him, come with me. Hey, my golden bow, you want to go to the store just to walk around? Or, hey, I got to do something. I want you to come with me. Or, hey, what do you want to eat tonight? Or, what am I going to want to eat tonight? Help me pick out my clothes. What's going to happen in the future? What's my day going to be like? What are you doing? Who are you talking to? Who are you battling right now? He's not just sitting there on the throne doing nothing. He's in a lua of action. Every time we inhale and exhale, we say Yahuwah's name. Every time our heart beats with the blood swishing in and out of the valves into the different chambers of our heart, it says Yahusha's name. But I don't want to just say his name. I want to praise him. I want to glorify him. I want to honor him. I want to sing his name. But I want to worship him, honor him, praise him, love him, serve him. And I devote and dedicate my entire existence to him, because once I really got to know him, once I got all the jerks and idiots out of my life, and I cleared once I made my life empty of everybody, which was 2020, once I emptied out my life of everybody and I made room for him, he filled it. He filled my life. And I'm so glad that I emptied my life out so that he could fill it. Like, I love him a lot. All right, so I'm going to take all this stuff I just talked about, and I'm going to go on Facebook and run a video over there for them. I just spent an hour and 40 minutes with you guys. All right, so I'm going to make a video for them And then tomorrow I'm going to make a video on internet radio, but I may mirror it on YouTube. I should mirror it on Instagram and build up a following on Instagram. Well, I don't really care about followings. Heavenly Abba, will you, if people are looking for help, answers, spiritual warfare, a friend, bring them to me, guide them to me, have me pop up in their feed. If they need a prayer partner, a baptism, whatever it be, bring them my way. And I beg you to please use me as your vessel, as well as make an example out of me. I want to do everything I can for you. I ask that you use me mightily like you did Moses. Please let my hair grow back like Samson, so that way I can start ripping down pillars too. In Yahushua HaMashiach Shem, Selah. It's all about ripping down those pillars. I'm really happy. I'm really happy. Oh my gosh, I remember I was just telling this to somebody. Somebody called me and they were talking about something. And I was like, honestly, my friend is going through some relationship issues. And I was like, honestly, back in 2020, I was waking up every morning going, Abba, I did it again. I got myself in this terrible rut. Please get me out. I don't want to be with this dude. Oh, Abba, please get me away from this dude. I am so sorry. I got to get away from him. I don't want to land in jail, but I also don't want to die. I almost died getting away from him, but I remember waking up every morning from September 2017 all the way until September 2018. I was waking up every morning saying, Abba, I made a mistake. Get me out of this. Get me out of this. I made a mistake. I'm so sorry. And then 2019, I spent the whole time picking up the pieces of myself. And I just wish that I stuck to my vow of celibacy sooner and never got involved with that dude that collapsed my lung, to be honest. I didn't need it. I would have been richer, wealthier, farther. I would have accomplished more, especially online with my videos and my work online. I would have been able to help more people if I just stayed away from that dude altogether. And at least the musician dude, I mean, that was 2020 when I first met him, and he stayed here for a month and a half. But I was like, Abba, again, I did it like a jackass. I want a biblical relationship. And if I can't have a biblical relationship, then I don't want anything at all. Please get me out of this, Abba. I really screwed up. Abba, really? All I want is you. Like, I really love you. I just want my mind on you. I just want to be with you. This dude's got to get out of my bed. Can he get his own? He lives with mommy and daddy, right? He can stay there. And then a year later, he came back into my life, and that's when he raped me. Because I said no to him. I said, listen, I want to get married. I want to have a biblical relationship or nothing at all. And he said yes. But then May 2021, actually, it was the very beginning of June 2021. He raped me. So I'm done. And I'm so happy to be healed from it. And then I look back and I'm like, Holly, these dudes are so nasty looking. Holly. Like, you're a pretty girl. What are you doing with somebody whose name you're embarrassed of? This one guy, just right on his name, based on his name alone, you're embarrassed of him. Then you got this musician too. Like, Holly, you're a cute, smart, intelligent girl. You have class, and these are like, you don't even want to say scrub because you give scrubs a bad name. Like, these guys are ugly. They've got nothing going for them. What are you doing? Even when Yahuwah, takes his hand and reaches down towards these guys, they still don't take a hold of his hand. You don't want nothing to do with that. You don't want nothing to do with the guy that doesn't respect himself enough to keep his penis in his pants and wait for marriage. No testing the merchandise beforehand. You don't want a guy that is easy like that. So don't get over these people. Like, I'm so glad I'm not that old person, but honestly, December 12th, 2014 is when I married Yahusha. It really did take me until about 2022, right around my full reintegration to get going. Like to really get going as far as getting my life on the track that I wanted it to be on. I changed my life drastically, but it took me a while. So what, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21. Actually, in 2021, after the rape, that's when everything started clicking. And I was like, Holly, you know what? It's just a lot easier for you to be with Yahusha. And, you're getting distracted. The kingdom of darkness is distracting you. Holly, you're happier with Yahusha. So why don't you just keep it you and Yahusha? Because you were happiest in 2014, 15, 16, and the beginning of 17 before that dude moved in with his kid with you into Long Valley. You went back to being happy in 2019. You're happy in 2020 until you met the other dude. Then he raped you. Then it devastated you for a couple of years. So, like, why don't you just keep it you and Yahusha? And that's what I was thinking to myself. Like, just keep it me and Yahusha. Like, I'm happy with him. Like, I'm so content. My life is so easy. And I love the supernatural gifts. I love being able to take phone calls and pray for other people and add fasting. I love to do baptisms, water, and fire. And anoint people in holy oil to be Yahuwah's servant. I like to help people with their demonic attacks and spiritual warfare. I like that stuff. I'm good at it, I believe. And I can share my spiritual gifts with people. So I got off on another tangent. I could not do that with those guys because the one guy was so damn jealous of everybody. That's how come my lung got collapsed. And then the other dude, the musician who raped me, he was one of these like, oh, don't mind that I'm here. Oh, don't mind me. Don't pretend I'm not here, Holly. It's like, dude, your astral crap is cramping me and my golden bow style. You got to get out of here. And, I was always the provider in the relationship. The guy never made more money than me. The guy never did better than me. The guy never had a car. He used mine. He never had a house. He used mine. He never had a job. I got it for him. So I don't want to go back to that. And I don't want to be the provider. I don't want to have to worry about that stuff. And it was always me that worried about that stuff. The guy never cut it or did anything. He was never the provider. And now that I'm finally healed from all of that, I definitely don't want to make a mistake and go back into it for any stupid reason. No. I'm too good. I've been through a lot, and Abba's cleaned me up and healed and cured me. I mean, I made it through the cages and the domes. I'm an ex-super soldier. I remember my friend from the Marine, he called me up the other day and he goes, Holly, you got this. He goes, I read your book. I was like, oh, you read my book? Wow. I was so shocked. And we've been friends for years. But he's like, Holly, what you're going through right now, he's like, you got this. Holly, you got this. He goes, I worry about you, but at the same rate, I don't worry about you because I know you got it, but I do worry about you because, you know, you're always by yourself. You know, you got you, but you got you all by yourself all the time, you know. But, you know, I made it through that. The only reason why I did was because of Yahuwah. I look back on my memory. Heavenly Abba, if somebody's throwing harps at me, take this harp and please walk on over to the person that shot it at me, this harpoon, and take this harpoon arrow and bring it back to the person who shot it at me. And please have your wrath and vengeance on them. Break that harpoon arrow. And then please have your wrath and vengeance on them for who shot that at me. In Yahushua HaMashiach's name, Selah. People piss me off. That was some spiritual warfare. Hang on a second. I need a minute. That hurt. So I'm so grateful I changed my life around, and I'm so happy. And I'm finally at a place that I've been wanting to be since 2014. Since 2020, 2023, 2024, 2025, like I've worked so I could get to the point that I am now. I really do want to be all about Yahuwah. I want to live in my spiritual gifts. That really hurt, that spiritual attack. Sometimes when I disassociate and I'm under a lot of duress, sometimes I have a bad habit of emailing Black Operations. Black Operations meaning Project Seagate. Somebody that I believe I remember from Project Seagate. I wore a knife on me named Aaron. Okay, so, and I never mean to bother him. He has a family, he's off grid, and I apologize. And that's probably why I had a harpoon just shot at me. No, even though my altars are gone, I'm still them. I'm not them in the aspect of like the way my life is now. Like I want to be married to Yahusha. I don't want to be married to anybody from Black Operations or the Dumbs, like nothing like that. I don't want to be married in general. So I never ever want to come across that way to anybody. Even if I do get a little mouthy when I'm disassociated, I really don't mean any harm by it. Even though I've been through all that stuff, I do feel weak at times. I gotta go figure out, oops. I gotta figure out how much money I don't have. What time is it? It's almost 5 o'clock. I I gotta, I guess, eat. Take my medicine so I can eat. Which I have to get medicine. That's an issue. All right. Well, thanks for hanging out with me for 2 hours. I appreciate it. I gotta go figure out what to do with myself now. I guess eat, and then I'm gonna wind up running a video on Facebook, and I'll talk about altars. They like people reach out to me and they're like, "That's a good video. That's a good video." But yeah, I want to get back into my broadcasts. I want to have a topic to talk about. I definitely think I need to focus on full reintegration and what that is, because a lot of people don't know what it is. They don't know about it. They have misconceptions. They have a lot of mistruths. When someone's fully integrated, they don't have any altars anymore. The altars are gone. They don't come back. Now, I've heard people like Brooke go, "Oh, well, I was fully reintegrated, but then my system fell apart and broke all over again." Bull crap. Malarkey. Because Yahuwah has fully reintegrated me, and I've gone under some bad duress since 2022. I've gone under so much stress that I felt like I was going to crack and fall into 169 pieces again. I felt like I was going to fall apart, but Abba built me. His full reintegration is sturdy. He built me, so he healed me. I might feel like I'm wobbling, but I'm not. I'm sturdy because Yahuwah has me, and he gave me full reintegration. If it's done properly through the blood of the Lamb, just like a freedom deliverance, when somebody gets set free from demonic possession in Yahusha's name, when it's done right the first time, it only takes one time, and that's it. I know what I'm talking about. And I've seen botched freedom deliverances where the woman's walking out and she's still got voices in her head. And now she's online telling people it's voice to skull. No, it's not. You're demonically possessed, lady. Voice to skull technology is not taking you in the dumbs to show you kids being tortured in a cage. And it's also not showing you naked pictures of some guy that you supposedly don't want to have sex with. That's not voice to skull technology at all. That's demonic possession. I know the difference between demonic possession and voice to skull technology. Just give me a couple of minutes talking to somebody. Not even. It might not even take a couple of minutes. Can you see? No, I can't see anything. You mean you guys have been talking to me? The only thing I can see is Marissa, me bad, and backyard. You guys have been talking to me this whole time. Victory. You guys have been talking to me this whole time. No. Oh my God, no. Oh, I lost my chat room. Oh, oh my God, you've been talking to me this whole time. Oh my gosh, I am so sorry, everybody. You've been talking to me this whole time. All right, all I see is Marissa. Were you able to meet Bryce Taylor personally? No, I was not, but I would like to reach out to her. Thanks for the I never got to read her book. I read Kurt Baker too and Kathy O'Brien. The only thing I read from Kathy O'Brien is this, but I watched her movies. I'm a slow book reader. Hey, Candace. Hi, Victory. Joe, I got to answer your email. ECWN. I am anticipate not being here long, so I stopped by for a quickie. That's because Trump is turning them. Hey, Angel, the White House said that the FAA had to come out today. They said that there were drones. Hey, Angel, luck of the Irish. Never seen one in person. I've looked. I don't know what I was talking about. She's ignoring her chat, missing all the one-liners. Yeah, because on my cell phone, it cut off after me. It cut off after backyard. That was the only thing that I've seen. I'm sorry, guys. Thank you for letting me know, Victory. Victory shot me a text message. Hey, Joshua, how are you? Nice to see you back. You got to do laundry. Hey, while you're doing laundry, ECW1, go do mine. Angel, it's great to see you. Cipher is better, the most accurate pronunciations in English. Ophelia, how are you? Candace, thank you so much. I'm humbled. Yeah, I took my backwards hat off and I'm dressing like a human being. Oh, disrupt me. Disrupt me, Victory. Hey, Joshua. Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, on my cell phone. Hey, can you give me 1 second? I'm going to spiral, but don't go anywhere. Stay. I'm live. All messages. Oh my gosh. Now I completely lost my chat. Wait a minute. There we go. I got my chat back. All messages. All right. Now I got my chat back. I should have thought something was off because it wasn't moving. I'm so sorry, guys. I wasn't trying to ignore you on purpose. I get babbling. I'm not babbling. I get talking and I should check things. But yeah. That's my whole intention of growing my hair. Like, I got my length back. It's got to fill out. However, I'm growing my hair longer. I'm going to grow it, if I can, to my hip bone. So that's probably going to take, it's already there. Oh, yeah, it's going to take probably 2 years. Grow it to my belly button. Nah, grow it to my hip bone right there. I'm serious. I'm laying it out for you who should have stepped on. No one interrupted. They should have interrupted me. Please do. Like, I don't mind. Because, like, when I'm not looking at the chat, like, if I look off, it's so I don't see the chat so I can finish my thought. But then I have to remind myself to look back at the chat. I should just keep you as my dinner company. I only ate one meal today. So the drones. Hang on 1 second. So I have to bring all this over here. So I'm hungry. Oh, I could go for a sub. You know, I wish I was still at the deli and gas station. I loved making subs. Like, I loved the deli slicer because I would slice my turkey like extra paper thin. I'd make the best subs. So. Food, I guess. And then I'll go over to Facebook and talk about altars and stuff, whatnot. gotta eat my chicken. Uh-oh. How long is chicken good for? I don't know. It looks good. It smells good. I know I got to get back to you, Joe. I apologize. I don't know. Like, once chicken is cooked, what, 4 days, 5 days in the fridge? I don't know. I'll look it up. Maybe I can get another day out of it. I will get back to you, Joe. I got some more emails to go through. I don't know what to do with the chicken. I have stuffing. Oh, where's Victory? Victory, you're in trouble. Uh-huh. Yep. You know why? Victory. 3 days. All right, I'll get rid of chicken. Victory. I usually leave it 4 days because my fridge freezes food. Like, seriously, you put something in my refrigerator and it gets frozen. So, Victory, you had me watch a video on Rumble's behalf. 2-ton tumble Rumble just became 3-ton. You're in trouble. Now I got to put him on a diet. See, look. Wait till he sits down. You're going to see 3-ton. Look. You'll see. You got to wait till he sits down. He became 3-ton. I can't give him. Do you see that right? Uh-huh. They got bigger and they're hanging lower. Yeah. Yeah, he poofed up. He poofed up. You having breathing problems? Okay, come on. I'm trying to eat food, and then you come out and you want your head scratched. Listen, you might be king of your domain, but I am queen of this here castle. Nah, I'm going to stick with the dry food and give him the fat kitty dry food. When I cook, yeah, I cut him up raw pieces of chicken and steak. I give him wet food. But no, he's going to go back on the dry food for being a fat cat. Yeah. Because 2-ton became 3-ton, and that's not good. I got him from 3-ton back down to 2-ton, but now he went back up. It's just too much for him, you know. He'll be all right. He gets pampered. All right. Anyway, I need a piece of floss. Okay, what am I doing? Food. First things first, sour cream. That lady downstairs has been keeping my black plates. I'm fine with that. I like the white ones anyway. The black ones are nice, but I've got another box of those black plates in my closet. So I don't mind missing a few. I like my white plates better because they fit in the microwave. Whereas the square plates, they fit in the microwave, but they don't rotate. The white ones, like, because they're round, they will rotate. I wish my godmother would call me up and say, Holly, come over Friday night or Saturday night. Ricky's going to be here. You should come over and we'll have game night. We'll get some pizza, play some games, and have a good time. I could really go for something like that. I could really go for something like that. I'm doing this all backwards. Oh, you're not talking to me. Good. One, two. I'm probably going to wind up with 3 tacos. Rumble, you don't need to be on the table. I kind of just cleaned it off. Like, I did. I just cleaned off my table, and he's got to jump on it. This is why I like taking 1 day a week and cooking 2 meals in that day. So that way all I have to do for the rest of the week is heat everything up. Yeah. Yeah. Get out the cheese and crackers and get out like the vegetable or get out like the vegetable dip and vegetables and like when I lived with my mother and stepfather and they had their my biological mother would have her parties. I don't want to get into it too in depth. But anyway, their friends would come over and I'd get stuck not only cooking for her friends, but then cleaning up their mess. They'd have the dining room messed up, the kitchen messed up. I was just disgusting. And then her friends would crash over the house. And of course, I'd get stuck cleaning the spare bedroom after their friends left because their friends never made the bed. My mother treated me like I was the maid. She was terrible. I remember my grandmother had to say something to my biological mother like, you know, your husband and your youngest child, who's 4 years old, have half the chores of the house and you have Holly doing the other half, you're a full-grown woman and you're a wife and you have Holly doing half of all the household chores, you have Holly doing your husband's laundry. That's when all of a sudden things changed. But that's when my mother didn't lift a finger. She delegated to my stepdad. But anyway, I would get stuck getting ready for her parties. So what I would do is I would get stuck where, I'd have to go get like all the vegetables, like broccoli and peppers and carrots and celery, chop them up small, mix up the vegetable dips. What else did I have to make? For her company. You had to have the cheese. I had to stand there and literally cut up blocks of cheese, lay out the crackers. So like these plates that you go to ShopRite for, like when you guys want to have a party and you go into ShopRite and you get these little hors d'oeuvre trays. At the age of 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15, 16 years old, at my mother and biological father's house when I saw him on the weekends. And then when I was 14, I had to live with him. That's what I had to do every weekend, was basically cut up all the hors d'oeuvres for their friends so their friends could come over Friday, Saturday, and Sunday night and have their game night. And I was always stuck cleaning up. Sucked. So now that I'm 50, yeah, I want my own game night. I'll go cut up all the old hors d'oeuvres and stuff, but there is not gonna be a bunch of cokeheads there. I don't want to be around that crap. I had this one friend that I terminated the friendship with last year in hopes that if I did that, the musician would also leave me alone, which didn't really work. But nonetheless, I had this friend and I liked hanging out with them just because I could get out of the house. But he had his issues. I couldn't hang out with him anymore. I wanted to, but there's times in my life where I'm really, really strong and I can say no. And then there's other times where I'm just human. And you know what? It would just be better to not be around the temptation than to be around the temptation. I want it to be game night, not Coke night. I wouldn't mind a couple glasses of wine. But anyway, I had this one friend where that's what it was. And I wound up terminating the friendship with him about a year ago. But also it was to keep his friend, the musician dude, away from me. I will never be setting foot back in Clifton, New Jersey, as far as those people are concerned. I don't want that musician stalking me. He's got a bad problem as it is. So, but yeah, I would love for my godmother to call me up and say, we're going to have game night. Get some pizza, a little bit of wine, take a walk down memory lane. Oh, I'll do an HTV game night. I think we talked about this. If I do, though, I'm not drinking anything. I'll just play the game with you guys. You guys can drink. I won't. I know. It'd be nice to go out with my godmother. See her. It's been a while. But we could do that. We could do a game night on HTV. If I got, I guess the games that have questions where we can all answer them. We could keep score with who gets them right and who doesn't. I used to have this friend on the internet named, he's still on the internet. We're still friends. I haven't touched base with him in a long time. But he used to have that. was like game night on his channel. Cruisins, Rex, Vandal. I have no idea. Who are they? But yeah, that'd be fun. Play all sorts of different games. But yeah, when I would go see my friend, it was nice because we'd wind up at the neighbor's house and we'd wind up playing games with the neighbors, and it'd be like 4 of us sitting at the table hanging out. But this past year I went out 2 times. I took myself to the shore, and some of my dreams came true that Abba gave me back in 2013. They came true last May, but I went to the shore. I was blessed with going to a conference for my 50th birthday with Brandy, Rita, and Alexius and Izzy, and I had the best time. And that was it, right? That was the only place I went last year. To the shore, to the conference. Why am I thinking I went to one more place after that? I think that was it. I'd gone over to Roxanne's house. But other than that, Newstons, I don't know. Who are they? Is this a trick question? Am I supposed to know who they are? This is awesome because all I have to do is heat up my food, and I don't have a bunch of pots and pans to clean. I'm happy because I got my house straightened up a little bit today. So I should probably let you guys go. I've been here for 2 hours, 22 minutes. Thanks for hanging out with me. I was thinking if I have energy, I'll do a video on Facebook and talk about alters and deprogramming on there. Deprogramming is easy. I don't know why people's like, oh my God, I got to find a deprogrammer. I got to find a deprogrammer. Just go to Yahuwah. I know people need assistance, but go to Yahuwah. He will guide you. I deprogrammed just Yahuwah and I, just him and me. He put some really awesome people in my life that I could call my friends, and I learned what I needed to do. I educated myself, and then what I learned, I put it into practice, and now here I am healed, and he guided me the whole way. You don't need a deprogrammer. You just need Yahusha. Really. He will guide you. He will take care of you. And what better way to form a bond and foundation with him than to have him heal you and cure you and do this journey with him. Let him be your rabbi. Let him be your deprogrammer. All you need is him. It's his name, Yahusha, that gets rid of demons and heals and cures us. Have Yahusha be your deprogrammer. I mean, you can read, Kathy O'Brien's book to get an idea of what to do to help deprogram. Read the book. It's about $12. You'll breeze right through it. And then you and your golden bow, do it together. You don't need to spend tens of thousands of dollars. You don't need these churches and online ministries. You just need to learn about Yahuwah and the power and authority that he loans to us, that we have in him and through him. You can do it. Get a couple good people to be your support system and you can do it. So I wish I could recommend somebody to you, but just go to him and he'll guide you. He did it to me. I knew nobody. I was homeless at the time and he still guided me. He guided me to Russ Dizdar online. He guided me to a bunch of people online. I educated myself, and then I took that education, I applied it to my life, and here I am. All right, guys, you have a beautiful night. Thanks for hanging out with me for 2.5 hours. I don't shut up, do I? All right, I'll see you guys later. I'll leave this video up on public. The one from last night when we were just hanging out, I put that on private. All right, I see you beautiful, fine folks later.